So in Pound for Pound, you start out as a plucky wannabe MMA commissioner without a dollar to your name, with big dreams and access to a couple of local gyms. At first, you don't have any fighters on your roster, so you'll need to invite free agents to fight for you. As you build a card for your show from your two starter weight classes, it will give you a grade for each fight based on things like how well the matchup works based on the styles of the fighters, their star power, their recent form, etc. Then you pick a location for the fight, and eventually you'll be selling out huge arenas, but to start, you'll be lucky enough to fill out a high school gym. Then you sim ahead to the fight night, your card gets graded, fighters move up and down the rankings, you earn some capital, maybe some prestige, sign some new fighters, rinse, repeat. So with something so simple, why do I have multiple playthroughs of 10 years plus? Well, let me introduce you to Charles Bond. We are 10 years into this journey, and Charles has been with us from the beginning. He started in as a throw in free agent, added to one of our first cards, and after knocking out one of our best fighters, we signed him to what was otherwise a blind contract. And once you sign a fighter, you can see their overall and attributes. And Charles turned out to be a bit of a beast, an A minus fighter, which was the best we had ever come across at the time. And since then, he has held the title three separate times with a total of 17 title defenses. He's gone through a couple big rivalries, headlined a majority of our biggest cards, and continues to be a mainstay in our brand. My ultimate goal is to see that Charles gets into his rightful place in the Pound for Pound Hall of Fame. And at the essence of it all, that's what this game is all about. Discovering these engaging stories within all the ones and zeros running in the background. Which does bring me to an interesting point about Pound for Pound, which is the RNG. Oh, a missed cut right away. That's not a great start to the card here. And a second one. All right, let's not make this a theme. And it's 3 now. What are we doing? And somehow we avoided that one. Okay. And there's a fourth. Ugh, what? Okay, as long as the title fight stays good, I think we can salvage this card still. What? What is happening? What is going? Did we do our training this week inside of a Baskin Robbins? What are we doing here? 5 miscuts on one card? Well, I hope you all enjoyed your double scoops. We're done here. Now, RNG can be a crucial element to any game. I love the fact that I've had fighters upset far superior competition and even maintain extended title runs. I'm also good with RNG that can punish a player. You go into a dungeon ill prepared, you are going to pay the cost to the RNG gods. And pound for pound, making weight cuts and injuries are the main RNG factors that can punish a player. Again, this game is in early access, and the developer has been insanely receptive to feedback and is constantly making updates to the game. And I do believe that the weigh ins aspect is actually close to being great. To briefly cover it, every card, all of your fighters will step on the scale, and you can watch as the numbers rise and potentially creep over the cut line. If they do miss the cut, you can then choose the outcome, like docking their pay or just canceling the fight altogether. For me, this process gets a little tedious and repetitive fairly quickly. I appreciate that the quick summary button was added, but then it just automatically chooses the standard response to a missed cut every time, and that's not necessarily what I always would want. It would also be nice to have more ways to mitigate these results beforehand. If a fighter is a risky cut, maybe we can hire a nutritionist or a personal chef that would take the risk down a level. Overall, I do appreciate that it is in the game, but for me, the missed cuts are just too prevalent for each card. And then there are the injuries. I can't tell you how many times I had a great title fight set up only for the fighter to back out due to an injury. And I get it, it happens, so it should be in the game, but we need to have some sort of agency to either prevent the injuries more, like having a trainer or better facilities, or have a way to deal with the outcome of the injury if it does happen, like rearranging the card to maintain a title fight or to sub in another fighter at a cost. While we are in the nitpicking section of the review, we should probably turn our attention to the elephant in the room that may or may not have an extra leg. AI is in video games, and if this game were being developed by a company like Rockstar or, God forbid, EA, then I would expect them to use some of their ridiculous wealth and hire some illustrators for the game. But this is a single developer game, and I'll be honest, I kind of love the artwork. If the option was between this and silhouettes or some nondescript 2D rendering, I would take this every time. This game wouldn't be the same without it. You need to feel invested in your fighters, and it just helps if they have some sense of personality. On multiple occasions, I've signed a fighter just for their profile picture alone, and the AI just adds a bit of unpredictable quirkiness I actually like. Take Francis Williams here, who looks like he just had a lettuce sandwich and contracted the cyclospira parasite and is now fighting for his life. Or Raymond Haddad, who apparently just got word he lost his childhood puppy. Sarah Mitchell has clearly never seen the camera before in her life and is extremely confused. And Paola Garcia likes to rock her Puerto Rican flag tattoo despite being born in Mexico. And you can also find fighters with badass scars. Just look at Laura Haddad here. And an MMA fighter with a face scar is basically like finding a shiny Pokemon. Now, would I have preferred a human illustrator to create thousands upon thousands of original fighters? Of course. But with realistic expectations intact, I see this outcome as a net positive in that it helps the overall product and as well as the smaller developer make their game a reality. Frustrations aside, I do love this game. I was actually trying to pinpoint why it grabbed me as much as it did, and it took me back to my childhood playing with Hot Wheels. I guess you could say I didn't play the normal way. I would line up about 20 of my cars at the starting line and give each one a little equal push in the direction of the finish. And then with my pencil and notebook, I'd keep track of what cars finished in what place, and after each race, the cars would move up and down the rankings. Man, please let me know if anyone did anything similarly deranged and sad in the comments. But essentially, that's what this game is. You pick your fighters as the results start coming in, you grow attached to them as they rise and fall through the ranks, and as a crew of fighters assembled from nothing, you climb the power rankings to eventually be crowned as the top promotion in the world. In the end, I would definitely recommend picking up Pound for Pound if you are comfortable with playing a still evolving game. The game is clearly a passion for the developer, and he is doing an amazing job growing the game along with the fan base. I want to thank you for watching the video. Please like and subscribe, and if you'd like a more in-depth walkthrough of the week-to-week gameplay for Pound, you can check out my video here.